Hello, I'm Lauren Bregetzer, the audio professor, and I'm going to show you some plugins that you can use on vocals to make them really stand out that aren't EQ and compression. There are tons of EQ and compression videos out there. I'm going to show you the special sauce, the stuff that makes their vocals really pop and stand out. I'll show you what I use and give you alternatives that you can use. So let's just start out. So this is going to be the original vocal without my special sauces, and I'll toggle that other one on. So here we go.
You wake up great today, call it a complex, is it just you, way you're feeling anxious?
Again, here's before and after.
Did you wake up great today, call it a complex, is it just you, way you're feeling anxious, overused?
All right. So let's start off with what I'm using here. I'm going to go through them one by one of the stuff that's not EQ and compression. So as far as inserts go, the first thing I do is have a harmonic enhancer, this black box. I'm using this black box from Plugin Alliance, modeled off the hardware. It does some tube saturation, so it'll warm up what could be like a thinner sounding vocal. So with it off, it sounds like this. With it on, it sounds like this.
Call it a complex. Is it just you?
So I'm using this to add more body to the sound. There are a lot of plugins out there that do this. Sausage Fattener is probably one of the most popular ones that you can use. And there's a lot of great saturation plugins. Some of them overdo it. This adds a nice subtleness to the body instead of crispness on edge on the high end, at least the way it's dialed in now. So that's plugin number one. The next one I'm going to use is I'm using the Novaltech Vocal Enhancer. So with this on and off, you can really hear a big difference because this adds a crispness and a clarity to the vocals. So it adds a little bit of edge to it. So
did you wake up
off,
today? Call it a complex.
I'll turn it up.
Just you feeling anxious?
That's obviously an extreme setting, but you can hear what it's doing and see what it's doing on the screen here.
Did you wake up great today? Call it a complex.
Off.
Is it just you feeling anxious?
Having an aural exciter type plugin. This is called the Vocal Enhancer from Novaltech. There are a bunch of other exciter type plugins out there. You can research those. Waves makes the actual aural exciter emulation, but there's a bunch of different ones out there, and probably one of the most important plugins you can add to your chain just to add some clarity and stuff. So that combined with the saturation over here really makes a big difference in getting that vocal to be warmer, richer, but crisper and sort of stand out. One thing that I do recommend is to put a de-esser after there, whatever de-esser that you like to use, because it can bring out the sibilances, the S's and stuff like that. So you might want to make sure that you have the de-esser after that plugin so you can minimize the S's. All right. So moving on. So as far as sends go, so I have a regular plate reverb that everybody does that, not a big deal. But the first thing I'm going to show you is this delay here. So I'm just using a regular Pro Tools stock delay. You can use any delay for this. And what I do, and I'll just build one from scratch here. I'll just bypass this and just build a new one from scratch. Let's go to delay, mod delay 3. And so
did you wake up?
Let me turn it on.
Did you wake up great?
That sounds like a regular delay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna unlink these, make sure they're not linked at all. I'm gonna set one side to like 200 milliseconds or so. The next one I'm going to just set to 220, so just a little bit later. So there's a little bit of a width that's added to that, and let's turn that send up. Here.
Did you wake up great today? Call it
So now I need to darken it up a little bit. So I'm going to bring down this low pass filter to about maybe 1,000 hertz or so, in the ballpark of there. And it'll be a lot darker. It's not going to be distracting at all.
Did you wake up great today?
So it just adds a width and a wetness to the vocal that's not reverb. So if you're in a situation where you don't want something to sound reverb, but you want to sound a little bit wetter, you can opt for a delay situation like this and bypass the reverb. But you can add a little bit of feedback if you want, if you just kind of natural it out. Another thing I do is I also send the output of that delay to the reverb. So I might copy that reverb down to this delay.
Did you wake up great today?
And a good idea as to what the setting of that level should be is so that you don't hear it when the song's playing, but you notice it when it's gone. So it would sound, you know.
Did you wake up great today? Call it a complex. Is it just you? Are you feeling anxious?
So something like that. That'd be a good setting for it. All right, so the last bit of special sauce that I have is I put a slight pitch shifter on the vocals. So I use this micro shift from Sound Toys, but there's a lot of plugins that can do that, even with stock plugins. I'll show you that here in a second. So make sure that the mix is set to 100%, but I call it this, all I do is I call it this lead vocal spread mixed. Make sure the mix is set to 100%, and I'll start with it down and then you can hear it as I bring it up.
Did you wake up great today? Call it a complex.
So as you can imagine, a little bit goes a long way. So let me dial that back down.
Did you wake up great today? Call it a complex. Is it just you? Are you feeling anxious?
And this is a very common effect on pop vocals, R&B vocals. But I'll put it on pretty much anything, just to a varying amount depending on what I'm trying to do. So that's what you can do with that, Sound Toys pitch shifter. But if you have just like a stock pitch shifting plugin, I'm going to grab the stock one and do the same kind of thing. I'm going to grab the pitch 2, which is Pro Tools stock one. I'm going to unlink these, and I just got to take the fine tuning controls and bring one side down like, 8 cents or so. Ballpark 6, 7, and the other side up a little bit, though, by about that much. So one side's down a little bit, the other side's up a little bit. And I'll put a tiny bit of delay on there, like 20 milliseconds on one, 16, I guess, and just a little bit different one on the other side. So just adds more of that spread in there. And let's hear that.
Did you wake up great today? Call it a complex. Is it just you? Are you feeling anxious?
Cool. Then you can add all effects now. And let's A/B those one last time. This is the original.
Did you wake up great today?
With all the same settings except for my special sauce. And the new one.
Is it just you? Are you feeling anxious? Overused.
So there you have it. Those are 4 added plugins that you can use that aren't compression vocals to make your vocals really pop and stand out. So hopefully this helps. And like with all these, there's alternatives to these plugins that I've used. If you have any questions about recommendations, feel free to drop a comment below. And thanks for watching. Have fun making music.